This is the October meeting of the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission. We are going to call it to order, although we do not have a quorum. We'll start going through some items. We won't be making any votes unless we do attain a quorum. So, number one on our agenda is to review the minutes. Now, sadly, Jim Long has them with him.
Oh, I was
and
going to say, I don't think I saw them.
He sent them to me, but it was in
Yeah.
gobbledygook format, so I was
Oh.
not able to decipher that.
Good, I feel bad. I thought, did I lose the
Yes,
minutes? I
I'm-
didn't get them, good.
And I
okay.
have the key to the kingdom here. Terry clued me in that I should just go ahead and, as I type my agenda, just type what I'm gonna say.
So
and
we'll
then we
just
can
approve
fill
them
in.
next month?
So we can hold that, well, since we don't have a quorum anyway, I guess at this point, it, here's, let's see. Hi there, Rob. Welcome to the meeting. You're on, yeah, no problem. You're here on speaker. Oh, we do need someone to take the minutes,
Yeah, I'm
actually.
doing that.
You're gonna do that? Okay. So, now we have a quorum because we have
Right.
5. So, we were just talking, Rob, I don't have minutes, so that's why you haven't seen them. But I will get them and we'll get them out and we'll hopefully vote to approve both this month's and September's at our next meeting in November. Let's see. Now, as far as the chairman's report, I believe we haven't had any, we had our September 11th ceremony prior to our last meeting, so we've already reviewed that. So as far as past business for the chairman or acting chair, I don't have any report on that. We do have quite a few items that have come up over the past month, though, that we'll be hitting as we go through the agenda. Let's see. Next is commission staffing. We do have a couple of people that are thinking about it, so we're hoping, hope springs eternal that we will have some more people coming into our commission. We do still need 2 more people, I believe.
Correct.
And definitely 1 from the Democratic Party.
Correct.
So whoever might happen to be out there in TV land, please give it some thought. We'd love to have you join us. And if anyone hasn't asked all their friends already, I know, Jim, you're just a tireless
I
bush
did my part,
rattler.
I got us Isabel.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
And we're
Good for
proof
you.
that Democrats and Republicans can get along.
All right. Well, see there you go.
We have to.
It's excellent. That's right. There's no point not getting along, that's for sure. Okay, so it is budget time. We got our email saying it's time to put together our budget for next year, for 2023.
Stick on
Staffing for a minute.
It's not completely necessary, but if you so choose to consider officially taking the role
Oh,
of
right.
chair, you
I
have
had
to
that
be
right
voted as such.
I had that written down, and I
And
moved on quickly.
if anybody, Jim, is willing to get pushed forward as vice
No.
chair, that too would have to be put to a vote. So
I will
the
only do it if
unofficial,
you do it.
the
That's it.
unofficial question is, are you willing to entertain a motion to make you chair?
Yes. I
Okay,
would
so
be
someone
willing
has
to
to make a motion.
I make a motion.
What's the motion?
I would like to make a motion to have Sue Ann be the chair of the Monuments and Ceremonies Commission.
And someone has to second.
I second.
do. Okay.
Okay, all those in favor?
Oh. Oh,
Okay,
got an
you're
aye.
in.
All right, I'm
Next,
in.
vice chair.
Christ.
You said you'd do it.
I know I did.
I make a motion.
See?
God.
That,
I nominate
oh,
Jim as the second chair.
I support it.
Ugh.
All those in
Second.
favor?
We'll take
All
them out
those
for
in
drinks
favor?
later.
all right, aye.
All those against? Jim, you lucky guy.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, so that's done. So we get new members. And Do we have to wait a year to, if someone wants to take over one of these positions, to do that?
One can resign a position at any time.
Okay, all right, okay. All right.
But there are no term limits, so
That's not good, you're already
Oh.
thinking about that day.
how soon can I get out of this? All right, well, thank you, I had that in my notes and I glossed right over it. Okay, so number 4, 2023 budget discussion. So Rob, have you had a chance to look at the forms? I believe there's 2 that we can put in. Is that right? I'm trying to remember.
So I only have the one form, the Commission Affiliated Organization Budget Request 23-24, which looks relatively straightforward. I guess I had a couple of questions for Terry and others. The current budget that we have, it says, program expenses, facility repair and maintenance, and cemetery repair and maintenance. Those are kind of static numbers, at least for the last 2 years. Is that correct?
Yes, and my suggestion to you is to apply for an increase in the cemetery maintenance budget, totally exclusive of any needs you may be identifying for the bigger picture items in the cemeteries, just simply for the mowing, weeding, cleaning, etc. Because in my opinion, we've done it on a shoestring with a lot of volunteer effort over the past 2 years. And this year was the first year that I believe we completely exhausted our funds.
Yeah. No, we've definitely been maxing out the accounts.
Right.
I mean,
So
we obviously haven't grown this budget with inflation or otherwise. It
well,
seems
forget
for 2 years.
inflation. We haven't
Yeah.
grown it based on the increased amount of upkeep that we were lucky enough to have done.
Yeah, I was just wondering, to my original point was, when was this level set with the amount of activity we've had? So it sounds like that hasn't happened, along with any kind of inflation growth. So I think what we need to do is really sit down and talk about what these numbers should be. And I'd like to look back at the invoices from this last year, and then just make sure we're building in enough growth here to absorb that. I would also just ask if the commission has any items in particular that they think are, I wouldn't say extraordinary, but different this year than they were last year, that need to be baked into a request for this year. So.
You know, I don't know how to go about this, but I think there may be somebody interested in joining the commission, and they have an idea about having some sort of I don't know whether it's an event or I don't know what to call it, during July 4th. I don't know if that means we should put money in for something like that or not. I know that there's a couple of people that were down in Greenwich last year at the July 4th celebration, and they thought it was an outstanding idea. I don't know what went on or anything like that, but I'm just throwing that out.
All right, so I spoke to those individuals about that. So what's happened in Darien on July 4th, for as long as I know, is the push-pull parade that the VFW sponsors for kids. But that, as nice as it is, it doesn't do anything for a broader presentation of what July 4th and specifically what the Declaration of Independence is all about. And the individuals that Jim is speaking about attended the event this year in Greenwich, where they do readings from the Declaration of Independence, which is basically aimed at educating everybody, but primarily the youth. So I think that's a wonderful idea.
I do
And
too.
I think,
So do I.
yeah, it'll be one more ceremony that this commission would have to take on. But yeah, I think it's a wonderful idea.
And what does generally a budget for an event like that look like?
Well, we'd have to sort out what it is we'd want to do, where we'd want to do it. But I'd have a hard time imagining that it would require a lot of money, Rob, because my first guess is that we would do it on town property, either in the Veterans Circle here, or one of the parks, perhaps. Tilly Pond Park
Yeah,
might be a good
yeah,
one.
I was
Great.
thinking Tilly's, yeah.
And-
Yes, I agree.
And, we would, I'm sure, be able to count on the cooperation of the Parks Department to supply us with whatever dais we may want. We could use the same bunting that we currently have, that we use on Memorial Day. I'd have a hard time imagining where it would be more than, and maybe I'm wrong, but I'd have a hard time seeing where it would cost more than $200, if that. Maybe I'm crazy, but, I always like to be mindful that, when you're spending taxpayer dollars, there should be an accountability and a good reason to have it, and not a lot of feather bedding. And I have a hard time seeing where it would cost more than $200.
You're probably one of the only elected officials that
I'm not
feel that
elected.
way.
That's why I think that way.
Yeah. That's how that happened. It's not elected.
Okay, just kind of two bookkeeping questions. When are the budget request forms due?
Uh,
In the email.
Mid-November, I don't know the precise date, maybe it's December 1st. So we have time before our next meeting to put the fine touches on it.
What I'd like is I'd like to circulate something to the group just as a proposal about what I think we should be putting down here. I guess my other question is this use it or lose it? Or does it roll into a next budget?
No, it's
cycle?
use it or lose it. The only rollovers that we have individuals who have donated monies to the Wartime Veteran Street Sign Program, and we have had people donate monies to the cemetery maintenance account. Those monies roll over. But any monies that are budgeted by the town are definitely use it or lose it,
Okay.
as they should be.
Rob, I think you told me this a while back, there's 3 accounts.
That's right. There's program expenses, there's facility repair and maintenance, and then cemetery repair and maintenance. Those two are used, those two can both be used for the maintenance of the cemetery properties.
Okay,
So I have to keep track of which ones are, which ones are getting close to zero when I submit invoices from our landscaping partners.
okay, and I don't mean to complicate this, and I don't know whether we want to talk about this until we move on, but you sent out a grant request from the state?
Yeah, so we have applied for it. The state has changed the rules this year. So every town or city in Connecticut is required to take over the maintenance of any abandoned or neglected cemetery, not the entire cemetery, but if there is a veteran from the Revolutionary War or a veteran from the colonial period before 1776 in any graveyard that's in a neglected or abandoned cemetery, it's incumbent upon the town to maintain those graves. So we have several cemeteries in town where there are Revolutionary War veterans buried. The state has allocated $2,000 per annum for towns that make application for reimbursement for expenditures. This year, the state has changed it. They're asking for documentation, invoices. They've stipulated how and why and on what the monies can be spent. And we do still qualify because the major items they put in there is for cutting, mowing, weeding, keeping it clean, and headstone restoration. But it's $2,000 a year. It goes through the Department of Public Works. So Rob, Ed Gentile, the head of Department of Public Works, is our go-to person for that.
Yeah, so Jim actually made the connection there, and we'll talk with him about the best way to get into this flow of the reimbursement dollars. I mean, it looks like we should be able to use it. There are some caveats on allowable costs that I think we'll have to make sure we check the boxes. But I do think it should be funds that we shouldn't count on them when we make our budget. We should.
Well,
think about
no,
maybe
because
we-
that's in addition to the budget. So, and, you know,
exactly.
we would have run out of money on cemetery maintenance every year if we weren't getting that additional $2,000.
Okay. Is that the limit? In other words,
Yeah, well, again, I didn't read all the fine
Okay.
combing this year.
Right.
But historically, it's been $2,000. I'd be shocked if they had increased it.
okay.
If we're getting independent donations from people towards that project,
Right.
will they deduct that from that 2,000,
No,
or is that,
that-
but
that's in
that's
addition
above and
to-
beyond? Okay,
And again, any
Okay.
monies that come in from a private source are rollover eligible, so they will count going forward.
but it doesn't affect the 2,000 or
No.
whatever the figure
Correct.
is? Okay.
Because the problem with some of this is that it has to be town owned.
No, not
equipment
owned. No.
and otherwise.
Not town-owned, no. If there, again, if there is either a colonial era veteran or a Revolutionary War veteran's grave in any abandoned or neglected cemetery, it's incumbent upon the town to take care of those graves. So,
No, I understand, but some of the charges have to be associated with town-owned equipment or town services. So we just have to make sure which ones we're using when we submit for this. But if they've done it before, they obviously know how to do it.
again, I didn't read it with a lawyerly eye, but if we have invoices from outside, because I know the word invoices was in there, and you would not get an invoice from a town entity,
Sure.
so.
Okay. All right, were there any other ideas for things that we should include in the next year's budget that we haven't in the past? I like the 4th of July idea, that's.
I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's
exciting.
great, too. Sure.
That's exciting. All right.
May I ask a
Who
question?
did, who did Greenwich have to do the readings?
I-
Did they have volunteers?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Because-
This person just mentioned that to me, and just about the 4th of July. Terry knows more about what they did than I know.
Because at the Veterans Day thing, they had each person read, I know I read a piece, somebody else read a piece.
Right.
Maybe we could all get together and read a piece
Yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And that would,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
fulfill our duties.
yeah, that'd be neat.
The Veterans Street sign, that was private money?
No, that's part of our budget, but several of the families
Okay.
of the individuals who have been honored made,
Okay,
and without solicitation, by the way. They just thought it was so great that they actually gave money to have the program continue.
okay.
All right, well then we'll move on to our Veterans Day observance, which is coming up, let's see, the 11th of November.
Which is a Friday,
It's a
I believe.
Friday.
Correct.
Yes. So,
Yeah, it's a Friday.
And we will have one more meeting prior to that on the 8th. So we'll be meeting here. So as you mentioned, there is a great program that's in place that we'll plan to use again, where there is participation.
Just a word of caution.
Yes.
I mean, I would change it up. I changed it up a little bit every
Sure.
year.
Mm-hmm.
And I will tell you that the reading that I put in there last year,
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time making it through without crying.
Oh, boy, okay.
So just be mindful.
I'll practice it a
Just
bunch.
be mindful that if you're going to use that reading again,
Okay,
read it out
Get
loud
ready.
at home 1 or 2 times. Don't go
Steal
in
yourself.
cold.
I'll
Don't
make
go in cold.
the vice chairman read that.
Jim, you're vice chair, you
Now-
can delegate.
One thing, the
Whoever-
8th is an election day, and I'm working at the elections,
Okay,
or at one of the booths, or one of the polling places, so I'm not gonna be able to come the 8th, just to let you know.
okay,
Throw
all
it out
right,
there.
so autumn. And we did check, town hall is open.
Correct,
On
So,
election.
so we
Oh,
will
they're gonna be
here.
open on the 11th?
yeah.
Because,
On
On
the
the
8th.
on the 8th.
On election day.
Because that's the day, yeah, the meeting, I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you,
that.
okay.
I'm there all day from 5 to,
Ugh.
it's gonna be, at least it's not
I've
gonna be
done it.
117 degrees
I've
like it
done
was
it,
last time.
oh, I did it at Hidden, it
Yeah.
was freezing in that school last November.
Oh,
my
no.
God, it was so
Well, I'll
cold.
bundle up, I'll bring a bunch of
Yeah.
layers.
Yeah,
just
oh,
in
yeah,
case.
oh,
Right.
yeah, if you're
You never
doing
know what
Henley
you're gonna
School, the
get.
gym is
Henley School's my
freezing.
jam.
Is it? Yeah, it's where I did it last
I'm
year.
like, how do you
Mm.
guys keep booking it here? But I'm not gonna complain, because I don't wanna be in charge of making it go
True,
somewhere
yeah,
else.
be careful
and
what you
have to-
complain about,
Exactly.
exactly.
So I'm just gonna follow suit, what they say. But just to let you know, I won't be here
All right.
Tuesday the 8th.
Okay, thank you. So, but since town hall is closed, I know we do need to get the flag. And then, does someone bring the flags over? I know there's or the box for people to bring. I know people bring flags that need to be
That's your job.
destroyed. Okay, so that's at the VFW, pick up that box, or
No,
just
no,
a
just bring
regular
a box.
Okay.
And then when you're done, for the TV audience, we do collect on Veterans Day as well as Flag Day, any flags in need of retirement.
Oh, I have one.
I have one, actually.
Everybody has one.
So,
Yes.
yeah,
And, yeah, so it's incumbent upon you to bring the box,
Got it.
and then just afterward, bring it over to the VFW.
Sure.
Okay.
How do you communicate this to the public?
We just did.
Well, okay, but.
And there's a press release that goes out.
Okay, all right.
And there's an invitation that goes out to all of the officials and
Okay, got
different
it.
people from,
And the press
Okay.
release goes Darien
it
Times?
goes to I think there's probably 7 or 8.
Oh, there's more. We send it out to
Every-
like 14 different
Every,
press
every
contacts.
different.
Hey,
Come on in, Brad. The water's
Would
fine.
you like to be in the Monuments and Ceremonies
Wrong meeting,
Commission?
pension board I was looking for, sorry.
Yeah.
I tried to get him.
Yeah, did you try?
But he can't, he's on another
No.
commission, yeah.
And he's on the RTC, too, or he
Yeah.
used to be
No,
on, is he still on the
yes.
RTC?
No,
He is,
no.
yeah.
No?
So,
So that's an automatic, is that what that means? In terms
What's
of the
an
press
automatic?
release and all the rest of it,
Yes.
you have all that stuff?
I do,
Okay,
I do.
great.
Terry has passed all that on to me
Okay,
and
got
I'm
it.
muddling my way through, trying not to
I'm
screw
trying to
anything up.
spoon feed her, just, I've only given her Veterans Day.
No, no, no.
He's trying to spoon feed
I'm
you, but
waiting
he's
for the
using
big
ladles.
slam.
Yes, it's the spoon feeding me with the bucket.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
No, listen, I've held off on Flag Day.
It could be a
and
lot
Memorial
worse.
Day,
Is that what you're
just,
telling me? It could be a lot worse. All right. Great, and I will send that press release to everyone as well.
Okay.
When I send it to the press, I will send it out so you
Great.
all can see it. Let's see, what else?
And the
So-
good news is, there's a new editor at Darien Times and a new reporter at Darien Times who have been much more user-friendly.
Oh, terrific,
Yeah.
okay.
Because they had a lot of turnover. Who's the
Yeah.
new editor now?
I don't give out names like this in public, that's,
Oh,
Yeah, all right, well, we'll find that out. And then a new, or added on to the Veterans Day observance, not under the auspices of Monuments and Ceremonies, but the Daughters of the American Revolution are going to be giving a plaque to the VFW. Is it Brian O'Malley?
yes.
a plaque for them to put up at the VFW
Oh, nice.
in commemoration of the fact that that building was part of the Fitch home, and I guess it
That's
was
on the
moved across
11th
the
as
street.
well?
That, yes, so that'll be, that, they'll have that very brief presentation right after the end of our ceremony. They'll be doing that
Okay.
right
And
here.
this ceremony begins, do I have the timing right? I have 10:50.
Yes.
10:45, 10:50.
Yep, if everyone
yeah.
could be here at 10:45.
Gotcha.
Then we'll give out the
Change that.
the different things that we'll be bringing forward and the speaking parts.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. And then for the cemetery committee, I guess there's a sign that is being taken to
Yes,
be engraved, because the other one, how do they keep?
Hold on,
oh,
skipping over the Veteran Street Sign Program.
Did I? Veterans, oh. I had that in a different, I must have
It's number
used
5.
my.
Oh, okay.
Everything's
Right.
number 4 or 5 on this. 'Cause I
That's all
screwed,
right.
I screwed
Okay.
up the numbers. I have that down.
Okay, never mind. I'll
Sorry.
flip it back.
Okay,
Okay, to answer your question, I got the blank. Linda showed me where to go. I
okay,
talked to the sign people. They said it's not a problem. I wanted to make sure that that sign company did business with the town.
yeah,
So there wouldn't be any issues if we got a bill and they couldn't pay it. And that's okay as well.
Okay.
So I've got all that stuff cleared. Rob knows about it. You know, I wanted to just clue him in on
Sure.
everything going on.
money's gonna be spent.
Basically,
What was
that's
the
it.
sign for?
The Slauson Cemetery, somebody, I think, ripped the sign down. And somebody put it on my front stoop.
Oh, really?
They knew you'd follow
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
It's kind of them, you didn't have to go fetch it,
No,
right?
right. Okay, so that's that one. The other one is, I talked to the guy that does all the mowing and cleaning and everything is fine. I talked to Rob, but I thought maybe, and I was incorrect, that this grant, we could maybe go after a lot of money that we need for Norotan River Cemetery because, you know, all the stones are broken and all that stuff, but the reality of it is only $2,000, so forget it, you know?
No, it's, yeah, but the minor headstone cleaning and things like that, we could, once we've done it, we can go back for reimbursement.
Okay, all right, got it.
So,
That's kind of about the size of it,
That's
okay?
it, okay, excellent.
sorry, just one more thing on the cemeteries. Just, I'm working on this, this headstone that needs to come down from Milford. Does anyone know if there is anything in town records that show where certain people are buried in a given cemetery?
There's a monument building over by Spring Grove Cemetery, a little monument building that's on,
That only has Spring Grove.
oh, okay.
To answer your question, Rob, I would be surprised if the town had it, if it were procurable. But the Daughters of the American Revolution are almost certainly going to have detailed record. So,
Thank you.
I'll send you.
I'm trying to find the right place for this, you know, this infant, frankly, that was, you know, it looks like there was a family at some point, and we'd like to make sure she's where she should be, so.
Okay.
Well, I happen to have the information for the Daughters of the Revolution.
Great.
If you need it, it's on.
Yeah.
Who signed off on that, by the way?
Rebecca Siciliano, am I
Okay.
saying that correctly?
Yes.
Okay,
All right, so Rebecca is one of the officers. You're in that, are you not?
No, I'm not.
No? Rebecca is one of the officers. Kathy Love, Virginia Otis is the current, I forget their official title, but Virginia Otis is the chief cook and bottle washer right now. So, Rob, I'll send you Virginia's email address.
and I have Rebecca's, I guess it's Rebecca's phone
Yeah,
number.
but Virginia Otis she's it.
She's the go-to person.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay. Now for the Wartime Veterans Street sign.
Okay, because all three members of the Veteran Street Sign Program are no longer members of this commission, we need to have at least one person from this commission volunteer to be the chair for the subcommittee for the Veteran Street Sign Program.
Hey,
Hey, I'm the chair for the display case.
okay, well, one of you two ladies.
Now,
I am
it
with her.
doesn't
Yeah,
have
she's,
to,
yeah.
it doesn't have to happen this month because we had agreed at the end of June, because as of June 30th, I was no longer eligible. Lucy Berry was no longer, now Lucy West, no longer eligible. But we do need someone from.
What does it entail? How much work is involved in that? Because I've got a lot of stuff going on, but if I can fit it in, I'll do it. Isabel can do it with me.
It's as much work as you want to make it. One of the reasons that there were several reasons why nothing is happening in November. The first one is that when we get applications that are slam dunk, so easy.
So it's a review, we have to review these
Yeah,
applications
but
that
a
come
lot
in.
of the applications come in and they're not complete. I mean, the last application we got in didn't even have the application. It had, here he is, here's who he was. Didn't even have the application. So, and then there are other people who have had strong military records, but little to no community service records. And there are some people who are certainly eligible, but again, you always look for the slam dunk ones first. And while there's nothing that is mandatory, our protocol has always been to go to the older people first. Go to anybody from World War I. If there are people in town whose grandfather or great-grandfather served in the Spanish-American War, the Philippine insurrection, I mean, it's not limited to just what's going on now.
But how do we have a process where we reach out to the community and?
Yeah, the application is on the website, town website. There are applications available at the First Selectman's office. We bring it up at almost every ceremony that we propose. And, we do get applications, but one of the challenges is that a lot of the applications come in incomplete. And when you ask how much work is it, Lucy Berry, Lucy now West, God bless her soul, I mean, she was willing to ferret and not only contact the people who gave the information, but she went sideways and went down legacy.com and went down.
So you went to verify everything on there, not just.
She found all the information
Yeah.
that even the family members didn't know.
Right.
So if you're willing to do that amount of work, then something's gonna happen, but,
I see that look.
No, you know what I'm thinking?
I'll think
Why
about
don't we let Jim Long do this, since he's not here?
Oh, put it on him.
Right.
That works for me.
I mean, he's
Sounds
a
like a
veteran.
job. It sounds like more of a job
No.
than if the parent, if
I mean,
the
he-
families
he-
aren't even willing to give.
He was in the Navy in
That's crazy.
Vietnam. I'm sure he'd be interested in doing it.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, maybe.
So,
And is
well,
Lucy-
there's no law against appointing him if he's not here.
so,
Yeah.
Are you making a motion?
I'll make a motion to Jim Long to
I'll
be chair of
second,
this.
Sure.
He's gonna love me for this.
All those in favor? Aye.
Gosh.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Welcome back from your trip, Jim.
Hope you had a good flight.
And are you and Lucy still willing to be members
I'm
of that?
willing to be a part of it. I don't want to speak for Lucy going
I
forward.
didn't know. Okay, she hasn't indicated whether she's still, okay, so we'll
I
have to
think
reach out
if
to
we
her.
twisted her arm, she would begrudgingly, she'd pull a Jim DeMark on us.
There you
They go,
go.
"Arr."
All right. Okay. Jim. Super. Okay. Town hall display case update.
Okay, I have gotten a lot of flack from people in town halls telling me that the artists shouldn't be in there, that it's not for personal use, and, you know, just didn't want to deal with their hassle. I mean, it stayed empty for so long, and we stepped in, we did everything right, we presented it to all of you, and got the paperwork signed and everything, but apparently it's, you know, so I canceled the artists for October and November, which were the last two I had set up. They were very gracious, but, you
What
know.
was the, first of all, could I ask you, who was giving you the most grief?
Do I want to say that on
I
tape?
don't know that you want to say it.
I don't want to say that on tape. but I'll-
Why? What's the logic behind it?
Well, first of all, one of the artists put a price tag in there.
Oh,
They
well,
didn't
yeah,
like the
that-
idea of
Okay.
a price, so
All right.
they removed it.
That
That
Okay.
was, you know,
gone.
that was
Just
gone.
water
And,
under the bridge. I mean,
but it's, you know, not for personal use, so they considered that personal use, even though we had approved it and gotten the sign-offs and all that stuff, so.
Okay.
Anyway, I do have, the Pollets have sent me a notice that they're gonna do Wreaths Across America in the display case in December.
Great.
So I have that, which I guess I give to you. Does everybody need a copy? Because I did make a bunch of them if everybody needs it.
Sure, hold on one.
So-
Yeah, thank you.
What days are they asking for?
Thank
you.
December 1st through December 30th,
That's great.
2022.
That's great.
Terry,
Um,
Terry,
So
there's
I
one for
would,
you.
I would suggest you send back to them, since we're knocking out November, do they want to go in earlier?
Yep.
Well, I could do that.
You mean
Um,
November and December? Right?
I wouldn't say
Well, because
early.
it would be, putting it in November would be good because it will
Hit the
Yes.
promote
fundraising.
Yes.
the Wreath program.
Yes,
Yeah, so,
great.
we could do that unless you wanted to do something for the veterans in November.
Why don't we contact Karen and Dave and suggest that they take it as early as November, well, that's a weekend, November 10th, possibly earlier.
Okay. Are you gonna call them as the chairman, or?
Well, I'm no longer the chair, but I'll.
No,
I'll
I'm
send them-
talking to
She's asking.
Susan.
I'll
yeah.
send them an email before we leave.
Okay.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I also got one from the Daughters of the American Revolution, who have really been proactive. They're booking it for September 1st to September 30th, 2023.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
which basically before COVID, they did that every year.
Yeah.
Okay, this
That's
is,
good.
a display is to teach and remind residents of the importance of the Declaration of Independence and the signing of the Constitution and the sacrifices that were made,
Oh, that's-
which is what they have put down. Is that mine?
No.
So they want this one, so I'll give that to you.
Okay.
And,
So let's, something, not us, because I'm no longer one of us, but as the interested outsider, someone needs to make a motion to approve the Wreaths Across America application with the stipulation that.
They might do it starting November
That they
10th.
could do it starting as early as November 10th, possibly earlier. So does anybody
make the
want to make
motion.
that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Seconded.
Second? Second.
All right.
Call for a
And-
vote.
Okay.
Sue-Ann, call
Yes,
for a
all
vote.
those in favor?
Eight.
Aye. Okay.
Okay, so that's
And
passed,
motion
and then you
carries.
have to do the same thing again for the.
And then do we have a motion on the Daughters of the American Revolution for September of 2023?
I make a motion for the Daughters of the American Revolution, September 2023.
Anyone second? Isabel seconds that. All of those in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Okay, that motion carries. All right.
So all the other months, you need some thing to go in there?
Well, yeah, I had.
Or not, I mean, we just, yeah, she picked it
Oh,
up
yeah,
and really
they have
ran
to
with
do
it,
that.
and
Right.
she's
And I-
ran into a lot
But I
of
mean, do
roadblocks.
you?
Yeah.
Jim Long.
I had to
secretary.
cancel
Jim,
the
okay.
September one because they
But we
put
don't
something in there, which they
have to
did
do
a
anything.
fantastic job. It was beautiful. I forget think it was the Constitution,
It
something
was,
about the
I think it was,
Constitution.
yeah.
They did, it was really
It was really
patriotic
lovely,
looking, it
yeah.
was really beautifully done. But I had to cancel the artist for that month, and then, got more flack, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna cancel the rest of the artists, and we'll move on from there.
Okay.
And if it stays empty, we did what we were supposed to do, but they don't like it, so.
This is gonna sound stupid, all right, but.
There is nothing that sounds
what-
stupid at
what
this
about
table.
What about the kids? I mean, like elementary or secondary schools? Is there any way to communicate with them?
Well, we did try to do that. You reached out to the high school,
I
wasn't it?
reached out to
And
the high
nobody,
She just couldn't get things organized.
Yeah.
The art professor that was just kind of in charge of
Okay,
the overall art.
I have a suggestion for you, right? And I met this lady, she runs the youth commission.
Uh-huh.
She is absolutely dynamite. I mean, really, I should know her name, but I don't.
So where's she from?
the
Uh,
youth commission,
youth-
I think
youth
I know who you're
commission.
talking about, but I can't remember either.
She is really exceptional. I mean.
And what would you want the children
Well,
to do?
Maybe they could come up with are there restrictions to
Well,
put
yeah,
something
what was
in
the
there?
objection?
Because it was personal use.
What is it, what,
It's
I
a
don't
sign
know.
and it looks.
All right, so what spoiled the water was the price tag.
Yes.
But that was removed
But
right
But
away.
that's what spoiled the water.
Okay.
Whatever
Because
it was.
historically, there's, in my opinion, and I think in the commission's opinion in the past, there's no difference between a resident artist putting artwork in and a high school student putting artwork in. Art for the sake of art, okay?
As long as it's Darien artists,
Correct.
yeah.
That's just my opinion, and that's how it was viewed in the past.
Because the three, how many did we put in? 3? I think we did 3, 2 or 3. We did Kanzi.
But you know
we
what?
did Dossetti, we did
If I would
somebody else,
suggest
Fritz.
in the future, rather than having an artist in,
It's
that
a
you
variety.
say, all artists, if the commission wants to say, we have a slot available for artists who live in Darien for the month of X, please submit pictures of anything for consideration and inclusion. And rather than having something from one artist, you pick 4 items from 4 different people.
Well, you
Put
can
them
only
in
fit
there.
so many pieces in that.
Yeah, it's
That's
a
why I'm
that
saying,
display
pick-
case.
that's why I'm saying, pick 4 items.
I mean, one person put 2 in, but then the last person put 1 in because it was a big piece, yeah. I just think we
Specified
should
size of it.
just table
But
the
you
artists
remove it-
because
you-
it's
no,
causing too much.
I disagree, just don't have it for one artist. Have it for artists with an S.
Well, when
One
I
month.
sent out the feeler to see who was interested, I did send it out as
Yeah.
that. And then I gave them a choice of whatever month they wanted, and they chose the month that they wanted, and we went from there.
Is this something that you could talk to whoever the person is that is not happy about this? That if we approach it from the point of view of getting the youth commission involved in it, having kids
Well, I don't
in
want
high
to
s-
say that in case they don't come through for us, because like, they didn't get back to us.
Yeah,
The high school,
You know?
yeah, she couldn't get it organized.
So, I don't want to use
Okay,
that, I don't want to
okay.
say that, because
All
then
right.
if it doesn't, they're going to say, well, you said.
I
Yeah,
think
okay.
they had something that pre-pandemic, I think there was like an annual
Yeah.
thing they did
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
And I don't know
Yes.
what it was because that was pre-me as
Yeah.
well.
So this, before
And it was
COVID,
pre-me as well.
Yeah, I'm sure.
everybody's got a COVID hangover, okay? Before COVID, we had applications usually a year in advance for most of the months.
Hence, the one for,
Right.
Right,
wow.
okay?
Yeah.
And,
because I know it was empty for a long time.
yeah, well, it was also empty because, and I don't know that it's worth it to fight town hall in this case. Where that display case is now is unfortunate, to use a polite word.
Yeah, because it looks like it's a piece of attic junk furniture
Right.
that's just been
Yeah, it's-
pushed
It
to
has
the
to be
side.
fixed, remember.
And it's the last person who told me, she said that we need to fix the linen lining inside it. Well, we didn't break that. Whoever was the last person in there is the one that did that. And it's, it's peeling
Well,
off.
we have a budget,
But I
Rob, we have a budget.
But I don't know how to
Yeah.
fix that. I don't even know
For a
how to do
carpenter.
that.
Is the display case right in the middle of where they walk into the auditorium?
No, that's where it
No.
used to be.
That's where it should be.
That's where it should be.
Now it's facing the
Kind of
staircase to the right of the
Okay, so when we review today,
auditorium.
let's all go down and look at it.
You'll
and-
see,
and
It'd be a good idea.
So
You'll
maybe we
giggle
need
when
Form
someone
an
to
opinion for next month.
take a look at it, and
Yeah.
we might be able to get that repaired,
It's
so.
an afterthought, yeah. But I also know one of the handymen here in the building, the janitorial stuff, and he's super
What's
helpful.
his name?
Jeffrey.
Is that that's our angel? Wasn't he the one that
Might
came
be-
and saved us?
Might be your
I think
angel.
so.
They're all
Yeah.
really,
Okay.
really nice
Yeah.
and
Really,
super
really nice,
helpful,
Yeah,
yeah.
he did
Yeah,
come
the
by,
staff
he came
here
by,
is
yeah.
great. They
Yeah.
really are.
So I'm sure Jeffrey could come help us, or we could figure something out.
I mean, I'm guessing it just needs to be like tacked or stapled or
Probably.
something,
It's probably
even glued
something.
maybe,
Yeah.
you know?
Okay, all right,
We'll
well,
do
we
it.
will.
I think it's a
we will
simple
go
fix
see
for it.
on
Yeah.
our way out.
Do you want me to not say any, ask this woman that runs the youth commission? I shouldn't ask her anything.
Yeah, no.
Oh, no, no,
go ahead,
Hand-
ask her,
hand
yeah.
an application.
Yeah, if she wants to,
Yeah. Do you happen to have a blank one
I
with
do
you?
not, I do
It's
not.
all right, it's all right.
These
I'm
are
just
all
gonna
full.
talk to her
Yeah,
before,
Sure,
okay?
sure.
If she has an idea, or, yeah, I mean,
I just
Great.
got
So
finished,
cute.
there are
Oh, do
two
they like
young
haters?
ladies that have joined that commission, have kids in school.
yeah.
Mhm.
And they're very much involved in trying to be, to be tuned into what the kids are facing in school.
Sure.
and Things like that, so who knows what they could come up with, but I'll let you
Creative
know as soon as I
intelligence,
talk to
yes.
her, right?
Thank you,
Okay.
appreciate that. Yeah, that would be great.
Alicia Sillers.
Right.
That's
right,
her name,
right.
yes, thank
Oh,
you.
Good.
She's really dynamite.
What's her name?
Alicia Sillers,
She's got energy like I can't
Sillars?
believe. It's
Sillars.
amazing. Yep.
She should bottle it.
S,
Make a million.
S,
Illars.
Darien Youth Commission.
Yes.
You know, another one to tap is the new director for the depot.
Oh, that's a good
Oh,
idea.
that's a good
Good
idea too,
idea.
yeah.
Okay, excellent.
I know Janice is no longer at the depot. I forget
Right.
who the
Right.
new director is.
Another one is at home at Darien.
It's a good idea.
We're going there for their luncheon next month.
Are you?
Yeah, on the 3rd, they're having this luncheon.
Yeah, maybe they just want to
and-
feature some of the things that they do
Yeah,
one month.
it's a
Post
very-
53.
Yeah, anything, just town
Well,
type
in
information.
an email, which I don't, do I have it here? I don't know where it is. She gave me a list of people that they have worked with in the past.
Like, you use two pronouns there, she and they. Who's she and who's they?
Whoever did
Pronouns are a problem.
the town hall display
Because
case person
I switched to
before
they
her.
because I can't remember if
But
it was
who's the
one
she?
person or two. The she was the woman that gave me Wreaths Across America.
Okay, Karen Pollitt.
Yes, Karen Pollitt is the one that told me that in an email, and I'll find it and I'll forward it to the world,
Other
this world.
groups.
And let us, no, I'll just
That have-
forward it to us so we know what she said.
Mhm,
And we
okay.
can follow up on it at the next meeting.
Yeah.
All right, so we will
Is she,
follow.
Karen and Dave Pollitt are part of the historic,
Yeah,
Building-
Darien Museum.
Yes.
There's another one.
Yeah, what's now the Darien
And
Museum,
again,
yeah.
all these people we used to have to reject people because we would have more than 12 applications.
We don't have that problem now.
Yeah, and for the record, I think that maybe someone here should make a motion that this commission take the display case, not necessarily for the whole month, but before Memorial Day.
That someone take it for,
That this commission takes it
To put
for
a
at least for
display.
2 weeks before Memorial Day, not necessarily for
And
the
what
whole
do-
month.
what do we
What
put
are we
in there?
doing?
what are we doing? What do you mean? We're gonna be
We're
putting something in there from
advertising the
January to
Memorial
March?
Day parade.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
So, and what do you want us to do?
Yeah.
Advertise the Memorial Day parade.
In the display case?
Right.
Got it. So you wanted,
Why don't you make the motion,
It
okay?
has to be repaired first.
but you wanted to put
That's
the
not
stuff in
till
there for
May.
like April and May?
No, I wouldn't even necessarily want it all for May, because if somebody else wants it from May 1st to May 15th, God bless them. But I think for 2 weeks, if we put in
Yeah.
what's happening for Memorial Day.
So the second half of May.
Yeah,
Right.
May 15th to May 30th.
Well, I move that we book the second half of May, 2023, for Memorial Day parade-related information.
I second that.
Did I say that good?
Yes.
You
Yep.
did, you did. Awesome. All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Beautifully.
Motion
Oh,
carries.
thank you.
Well
If
done.
if we do get together a July 4th event, we should do the same thing in June.
Oh.
He's right.
He's right, yes.
So I don't think you need a motion for this. I think just the people who are in charge of the display case just put a block on, say, from June 15th to July 5th. Not, it's penciled in, it's not written in stone, but penciled in case we have a July 4th. Very good, thank you, Rob, that was great.
That was very good. All right. Great. Well, that was a lively discussion.
Certainly was.
Awesome. And we even got something done, so cool. All right, so Reefs Across America is on the agenda next. I don't know that we have anyone here on this commission that knows a lot about it. Do you have anything to offer?
Yeah, and I meant to, the road to hell, good intentions.
Right,
I meant to invite J.C. Carter,
okay.
who is the titular head of the VFW's part of the Reefs Across America. Historically, when I say historically, that's the wrong word. For the last 2 or 3 years, the new enthusiastic vice chair of this commission and his buddy who used to be on this commission, but like me, moved to Norwalk,
Right.
the two of them ended up, they had their own super fund going.
Doing, yeah,
So,
doing a big
there-
lift.
it's incumbent upon this commission to cooperate with J.C. Carter and at the same time to work with the estimable vice chair here. And we've been very careful to not commingle public monies with private monies, but the individual members of the Board of Selectmen in the years past have been enthusiastic supporters as well. So we do need to, as I have to choose my words carefully here, as individuals who happen to be serving on a town commission, contact elected officials in town as individuals to participate in the Reefs Across America, not to have the town participate, because again, anything where there is the potential for commingling private and public funds, we want to stay as far away from that as possible, because this is a private enterprise and public monies should not be involved.
Right. So as a commission, we do not participate in
Correct.
Reefs Across America. As individuals, we like to put out the information and spread the word about Reefs
Right.
Across America, but it's not an official function of
Right.
this commission.
The reason why John King and I got involved in this thing, when I first came on this, Monuments and Ceremonies, I think they were lucky if they could cover 1,000 graves.
It was,
Okay?
yeah.
It was a disaster. I mean, it just that simple. And
Uh-oh.
John King and I said, okay, we'll
Lost
take care
Rob.
of it. And I had lunch with him today.
Oh,
And
did
he and I have come up with a couple of different ideas. The situation is that we want, if you go to the well more than 2 times,
Right.
people start getting tired of you going back
Right.
after the same group of people, right?
Yeah.
Which we have done and been very successful. We're trying to come up with a different idea about how to raise the money. And we're working on that, and I'm sure we'll take care of it. But, you know, that's, as far as he and I are concerned, we're committed to make sure we cover the costs.
And how much is the cost?
32, it's 2,100 graves times $15, and it's approximately $32,000.
32,000.
Mhm. And listen, any help would be, he and I were on the phone or on the email for probably 3 to 4 weeks before, individuals, not sending it out to whole group of people, all right? One at a time. And it was great because we were able to do it, but after a while, it gets a little bit trying.
Sure.
So-
People don't want to be pressured every time.
And I was fortunate enough last year to enlist a couple of additional guys to help us. You know, and I'm trying to come up with some kind of an idea this year to do something like that.
You know how they used to have those, I don't know if people still do it, but they'd have like the big jars looking for donations for
We do
children,
that,
for
we do
whatever.
that every year, and that's where you get the
Oh,
the
you do
first
do
900.
that, okay,
that-
yeah, I've never seen one.
That's where the 1,000
I've never seen
come from, but then
those
after
jars
that-
saying donate
Yeah.
to this.
Yep.
And you put a poster next to it or something, is that how it's done?
No,
I,
we put humans
I'm
next
not
to it.
involved in any of that,
Yeah.
okay? The
All right,
VFWs
we're
Yeah.
we're supposed to
Supposedly-
close in 4 minutes, so,
go out in front of Palmer's and look for money. I mean, that's the extent
Yeah,
of what they
that's-
do to raise the money. Some of the rest of the money, which
So-
is very minimal, comes from the hockey, and I know the Girl Scouts, I believe, they
Yeah, I
raise
think
some money.
they've tried to
So
help.
So the VFW has a thing that you can put donations in for this?
they have had
We
it
need to move
outside
on.
of Palmer's.
So
we need to move on.
Sorry.
that information, maybe you can send out
Right,
to
right.
individuals. All right, so we have new business, this application for a memorial park bench. I think you have sent that to.
Right, so
the group, I
Pam
believe.
Geary, who's the Director of Parks and Recreation, has received an application for a memorial bench. And Pam has been great. She really, she's on board with going through the appropriate protocol. But I notified Pam that the procedure is that memorials don't go up until a year and a day after the person has died. The application came in for someone who died this May. It says nothing to do with whether the memorial is warranted or not. It's just you don't put up memorials till someone's dead for a year and a day. So Pam was a little disappointed to hear that. I told her that I thought that the commission would not have a problem eliminating the day if the family wanted to, presuming that the commission does approve the memorial, that if the family wanted to have it dedicated on the anniversary of the death, but that it really could not go up before that. I asked Pam about what the time frame is because her crews are only available for certain slots. So I suggested to Pam that once the application is before us, that it would be likely that the commission would look favorably upon it and approve it contingent upon it not being erected / dedicated until 1 year is up. So I just
That would be
want-
next May.
Correct. So I would anticipate that next month there will be a formal application in front of this commission. And I would suspect, because everything I saw in the emails suggested that, oh yes, this should happen. But that it has to be approved by this commission and it could not be dedicated until 1 year.
Okay, so we're waiting for the application. Hopefully it'll be
Right.
before us next.
So I'll get back to Pam and have her give a formal
Action.
application.
Application. Okay, that sounds good. All right, so that Is there any other new business that anybody wanted to bring before the commission? Okay. Does anyone have a motion?
A
A
Carabillo?
Carabillo?
Carabillo.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Super.